Let's chat, shall we? Let's welcome you back to the People Squad and our results for this week. And it's actually a fairly positive one, given the fact that we were lucky enough to have 17 players this week, which was good. We did have to use lane use 28, which was completely fine in the end. After there's a couple of lower scores for the week. We then there's also a lot of teams that actually only fielded 15 or 16 players, which was not good at all. So it was good to finally be able to do that and have 17 on the park, which was good. We end up with a score of 996, which gained us 400 ranks. So we're 1800 last week and down to 1432. So pretty much the same as my team there with the People Squad. So and you look at the round 12 rank at 5577 when there's over 100,000 teams, it's actually ended up pretty solid, which is good. We'll talk through this, guys. We'll also talk through a little bit around the Origin teams and maybe some of the implications that come out of that going into these team lists tomorrow. So we'll jump into this one here and go through our players. So Brayley's had two pretty quiet ones in a row with a 45 and a 39, and to me it's not something too concerning. I'd imagine he's going to have a pretty decent week this week, and when Knights were playing a bit better, he was scoring well. When they weren't playing so well, it didn't really change much on his part. He's still doing well. He just had a few less tackles the last few games and a few more misses, so I wouldn't be worried about him at this stage. And he's still probably a decent captaincy option with a few of the other guys we've got there. But Papa Lee in there with 56, Watson 68, and Harris 55. All really good scores and guys that we're going to be looking to keep fairly well long term in our squads, which is good. And Papa Lee is a great option coming into this week. He's a little bit cheaper again at 755 after losing another 30k. So if you're interested in him as someone that's going to average sort of somewhere in the mid 50s at that price point, I think is he's a very, very solid option who's dual position as well. And it's funny this year, there's a lot of guys that are pretty well fantasy relevant that are mid and edge dual. So there you go. Pangai Jr. was 49. We'll take that, but we're looking for a little bit better from him. Somewhere in the mid 50s would be ideal, and hopefully he can pick that up this week against a weakened side that they're up against, which we'll have a little look. Who are the Broncos up against this week? Where are they? At the end of the week. Are you kidding? There they are. No, they're not. First game. Broncos and Dragons. So, yeah, we imagine a fairly close game. Dragons had a couple of plays out. Might have DeBellin back, which would be interesting. But moving to, Fafita, so 79. Obviously, holding him was really strong for this week. Obviously, he's going to be out in the Origin side and won't be scoring for us. But, it was a little bit of a just desserts for holding him there over someone like Pap, for example. So, well done with that. And that really helped us with our score this week, I think, because we had a couple of lowest scores with Olam and Moses here. So, 42 for Moses this week. He comes in really cheap now after a couple of low scores in a row. So, sitting with a current average of 53.7, two lower scores. He comes in right for the picking if you're looking to pick him up. I think this is the week you do it, even if next week or the week after he'd be a bit cheaper. I just think you can pick up other halves after that. The reason you're picking up someone like Moses is because that he's playing in 13. He's one of the premier halves there. So a low score from him and Fogarty, for example, but you take the 42. It's not the worst thing in the world for his price point. It's not like he's 900k and he picks up a 42 like a Payne Haas. But anyway, Cleary as captain was great. You take that 72 every day of the week, and having Avrilo in there, now he's 592k and pretty much the most expensive centre in the game. So well done if you've played him, if you're playing him and kept him, and that 720 kick meters was amazing. So we pick up Olam and he gets a 2 and a 22 for us. So awesome. Hopefully he plays a little bit better this week, and they can do some good work down that left edge for us. Finally Trbojevic had a bit of a low week, which is happy for my team, but not as good for the People's Squad. So 31 there. We'll cop with all the good scores he's been giving us lately. Tedesco 53 and Dane Laurie was 64, which was good. So these Laurie's really important for the Origin round 13 game this week. And then Walsh Hines awesome with 66 and 90. Flegler a bit disappointing again. He's someone that hasn't really been making us too much money, and kind of almost a wasted trade. Thankfully, he'll be playing this week and scoring for us, and that's going to be a good part of it. But you'd be hoping for scores somewhere closer to 40 would be ideal for Flegs. And then Spencer with 28. So in terms of looking forward to our team this week and where we're at, we will see Fafita drop out of this. So Fafita and Cleary won't be available, obviously. But you got Brayley, Paps, Watson for 3, Pangai 4, Moses 5, Olam 6, Laurie 7, and then we look to Hines for 8, Flegler 9, and then we'll say Spencer's going to definitely play because they got Martin out, they got Isaiah Yeo out, so he'll definitely play and hopefully some bigger minutes. 10 for Lanu, 11 for Peachy, and then Gamble is a maybe for 12. So in the grand scheme of things, we're sitting with 17 trades, and obviously with everyone this week, you can actually use 4, which is ideal. In terms of what the trades actually looks like, if you get in there, nothing nothing changes with how the setup is because you can see here you can only select up to 2. So the theory is with this, yeah, as it literally says there, a maximum of 2 trades can be used simultaneously. So making more than 2 trades in 13 or 17 is a 2-step process. So what you do is you make your 2 trades, and then the next 2 will light up, and you'll be able to use them there. So if you're not sure about that, have a play with it. Make the 2 trades that you might be able to do, and then use 2 more. So it's not as seamless as you sort of hope it to be with Oliver. I think it's just a bit too much for him to do, so they just leave it at the normal 2 trades and then make a second 2 there. But yes, so not a bad little team value at 13.5 mil. Let me go where you guys are at in terms of your team value. But yeah, in terms of that, so we're looking at 11 to 12 players, and if we can sit there with 12, I think that's pretty solid. Maybe we make 1 trade or 2, but I guess who do you look at trading out is going to be the question. There's obviously no chance of trading out Harris or Fafita after holding him this long. Cleary, we're not trading out. Avrilo's the gun, so no. You got Teddy, and I think you got to hold steady with him. He's almost the cheapest he's ever been. He's been scoring really well lately. Trebojevic, you don't trade out. And then with Schuster, I think hopefully it's just a week or 2, and we can keep using him. And the thing with him is that it's ideal to have him for 17, especially if you're having sort of 12, 13, 14 players in round 13. You're obviously not going to have that many in 17. And with trades so priceless now, I think it'd be smart to hold Schuster, even if he's out for, yes, he's obviously out for the bye this week, but even if he's out for 1 more week after that, I think he's worth a hold. And that's the same with Walsh up there. It looks like he's probably going to have a week on the sidelines or 2, which will obviously not include this week. So it'll be round 14 at least out, and possibly 15 as well. So keep that in mind. But again, we're not trading him out. We're not trading Crichton out. And Gamble is a bit too cheap to even trade out, even if he's not playing. But so it's kind of like, well, who do you even bring in? It might just be worth playing with the 12 and then actually being able to use these these trades that we have to build that final 17 and prepare for round 17 also. So that's something interesting I'll be looking at with my team as well. Is it worth getting up to 13, 14, 15 players just to be strong this week and make up a bunch of ranks, but then to later on in the year actually lose them? So that's probably something to think about. And yeah, that's the team at the moment. Let me know trades you'd make if you'd make any this week in this team. But we'll move on to the Origin teams, and it's pretty well what we thought it'd be. I heard a little bit about Martin getting a chance. So really, who that helps is guys like Eisenhuth with Martin and Isaiah Yeo in there. He should play some bigger minutes through the 13 role. You'd imagine Spencer Lanu get some extra minutes, whether it's 30 or 40, but just a few extra minutes off the bench, because some of the bench forwards in Eisenhuth who are getting the bulk of those minutes will move into the starting side. Tarek Sims leaves a hole in the Dragon side, which is probably good for someone like Alvaro, who should see very similar minutes. I'd imagine it looks like Jack DeBellin's going to come back in, so if that's a like-for-like replacement, then that's completely fine, and then Alvaro keeps his same role, which will be fine. Trebojevic doesn't change too much in the Manly boys. Obviously, they got a bye. To'o out just means you make sure that Mom plays and stuff like that. There's not really it's only for a week, so there's no real changes to that squad. Adokar doesn't do too much. Jerome Luai, and Cleary, which just means Burton, and you'd imagine Burton and Tyrone May or someone plays the 6 and the 7 role. Saifidi just means one of the bench forwards in the Knights gets more minutes, which doesn't help anyone. Junior Paulo just means some bigger minutes for RCG and these types of guys. Payne Haas being in if he even plays. Abby Coruscant, which means Mitch Kenny should come back into the team, but that won't do anything there. So not too much to talk about on the blue side, but I suppose with the squad here, and this is just a squad or a predicted team list kind of thing at the moment, with the chances that Munster doesn't play, for example, but there'll be some good minutes for the middle forwards in the Storm rotation. if you have like a Chewy Kamakamika or something like that. Cowboys doesn't do anything. Capewell, obviously, Capewell out as well, so just means bigger minutes for a lot of the Penrith guys, obviously. Ponga's out, which means Tech should play if he's okay again. Tino's out, which means maybe some bigger minutes for a Tyrone Peachy. Something to think about there. Brandon Smith with Harry Grant in here will be good as well. For Fafita in probably just means Furmore or someone plays there. Who else we got? Yeah, I suppose the most important one was Offengawi for me. With if you're still there holding Stefano, for example, or you're holding a Sean Blaw. There's also the talk that Lucy Leilua is going to be out for a week. I didn't even notice that until someone in Discord group told me. I was pretty upset that literally the reason I brought him into my side was to have him for 13, and now he's looks like he's going to have a 1 week early guilty plea for his shoulder charge. So that's great. But yeah, you'd imagine Stefano then definitely comes in if and Sean Blaw might play on the edge. So interesting, very interesting on there. Obviously, Reid Marnie in the 19 jersey. If that's kind of they've changed that. They obviously they had a predicted team list of Mane in 9. But if Grant's good to go, Mane might be the 18th man, which would be pretty interesting. But I suppose we've got to wait on AJ Brimson. We've got to wait on Felice Kafusi. So there's a bunch of guys in there we've got to work out what's going to happen with them. But yeah, we'll obviously work out with team list tomorrow as to what's going to be happening with the club teams and where we're at in terms of the amount of players we've got left and stuff. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of this video, what we should do with my team, what do you think of the Origin teams in general, and we'll catch you in the next few videos, guys, talking through my team and also what we do in this crazy round 13. So wish you lots of luck, and if you have to use all your trades, hopefully you're going to be moving through the ranks really well this week. And if you're holding steady, then maybe you're you can save those trades and progress later in the year. But there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.